Jewel Laramie, zooming in. Jewel Laramie changed all her plans for the day. She had a thing or two to take care of before she could join the search. But join she would. First, she went home and sent out a message postponing the softball league picnic. She added a note about missing boy and requested that all fit and able folks lend themselves to the search. Then she packed her Jeep, almost the way she had planned for earlier in the day, but now her purpose had changed. She was back at the Fire and Rec Center filling the big fridge with hot dogs and salads she'd purchased for the softball league picnic. Those would be super for the searchers now. The garden club had offered to cook and serve. She backed her head out of the fridge as Carney Huggins and Anzie Mayfield arrived with a pan of deep dish pie, blueberry from the purple looks of it. To be helpful, Jewel went to take the pan from Anzie. That put her close enough to hear Carney telling Chief Nash about a deer having jumped in front of his truck on Punkville Road earlier that morning. Jewel turned with the pan and on her way to the fridge and thought, well, that didn't happen at all the time. Deer in the road? This was Maine. And why had Carney Huggins chosen this moment to tell a deer story anyway? What did it have to do with the search? She stowed the pie quickly and came back to eavesdrop. She heard Carney say something about buckets rolling in the road. Then she saw Anzie give her fellow a good knuckle in the arm. Tell them the rest, Carney. Then Carney told about a possible, but not definite, flash of plaid. Jewel's ears perked up at that. She'd seen it written on the whiteboard. Frenchie Livernois was last seen wearing a plaid shirt. Those in charge checked the large map on the big screen that librarian Dottie Sylvana had set up special for the search. They discussed terrain, saying moderate to easy in terms of hiking. They estimated the distance and looked at the time. Seems unlikely, Chief Nash said. The boy started in the morning here. He moved the cursor along the map and stopped at Mountain View School near the top of Burt Gary Road. How would he make it to Punkville Road? And what? Fly up over 50-foot rock face here at the preserve? North, Jewel heard Carney say, though he was talking behind one hand in sort of a thinking pose. It's happened closer to here, he said, and he tapped the screen with his finger. That's still a lot of open land to cross, and it flattens out, Jewel interjected. Much more level overall if you're crossing farther north. With all eyes on her, she added, ask any deer, ask any hunter. She worked her eyebrows up and down. She turned to Carney. You say that you saw a boy and a deer. It could be they're using the same trail. Wait, are you saying this boy and the deer are traveling together? Chief Nash squinted at Jewel. No, Jewel said. I'm saying my fellow sporting folks and I have tracked deer for miles using their paths. I'm saying walking a trail, even an animal trail, is easier than bushwhacking. She elbowed her way up to the large screen. Dottie shifting quickly to let her in. Carney, come take a look at this with me. Jewel traced her finger along the screen. There's a known deer trail about here. Weaves down from Upper Burt Gary Road, like so. Not far from the school, Jewel noted. Heading west to east, the trail crosses Punkenville Road, right about here. She looked at Carney. Yes, that's the place, roughly said Carney. The hiking would be easy enough for a healthy, woodsy kiddo, Jewel said. There are several deer, bedrooms along the trail, and one ends here. She drew a circle with her finger. Just southeast of where you are. Said Carney Huggins. He cupped his chin in his hands and closed one eye on the map and the screen. What? Anzie said. Carney says, what's on your mind? Direction, he said. Both the deer and the boy. If it was a boy at all. They came from the other side of the road. Both were traveling east to west. Jewel crossed herself off from the ensuing chatter. She did not like the idea of getting steered off a solid lead. There was a vulnerable boy out there, and he needed to be found. She helped herself up to cursor and manipulated the map to reveal a plot of land deeper to the east, closer to the river, and not so far from the seashore. She switched the aerial view and zoomed in on the broccoli like tops of trees and the pale trapezoid of farm fields, closer and closer. Ah, she found what she was looking for. Yo, said Jewel. I say yo. Everyone huddled behind her. She traced a faint line that cut across the corner of the field. This is trampled earth, as seen from above, she said. It's a deer path, and see, it disappears into the woods here. She pointed out what looked like a small, dark depression in the landscape. See that? She said. Slight clearing. The path ends here. Because if they kept going, the deer would reach the seashore before too long. And I don't need to tell you, deer prefer woods, meadows, and barrens. So what they do here is they rest. Her eyes were on the screen now, and Jewel was trance-like in her belief that this was an area of interest. This is a deer bedroom. They'll stay here usually all day, but not always. Then, like most creatures, when they reach the end of the trail, they turn around and head back. She took a breath. That, my friend, could explain why the boy is heading east to west.